Hi and welcome to Art History 101. Today, we are discovering the Countess d'Aussonville by Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, a captivating portrait that embodies the elegance and sophistication of the 19th century French aristocracy. This painting, completed in 1845, is filled with intriguing details that reveal much about the subject and the artist. Ingres was a master of the neoclassical style, and he trained under the famous Jacques-Louis David, whose influence is clearly visible on the classical beauty favored by Ingres. Ingres, like David, was a figure of academicism, which followed the directions of the Académie des Beaux-Arts, and he had a marked preference for the subjects of historical scenes, which was considered at the time the most noble subject a painting could represent, out of the 6 categories defined by the Académie. Despite this preference, Ingres became widely recognized for his portrait, an art form ranked 3rd in the order of the Académie. He found portraits to be time-consuming and creatively limiting, but a high demand for these pieces and the significant financial benefits they provided often compelled him to take on the commissions despite his personal reservations, which gave us an incredible series of portraits of the French high society of the middle of the 19th century. In this particular portrait, Ingres depicts Louise de Broglie, Countess d'Aussonville by marriage. The Countess was a sophisticated and highly educated aristocrat who published biographies of Lord Byron, Marguerite de Valois and Marie Adélaïde de Savoie. An uncommon feat, even for a wealthy woman. The posture of the Countess is unusual and departs from the traditional formal postures that prevailed until then in aristocratic portraits. The inspiration likely came from Roman statues, such as the representation of the goddess Pudicitia, which represent virtue personified, or Polyhymnia, the muse of eloquence. This portrait has often been commented for its anatomical incoherences, the intentionality of which remains a mystery to this day. None are particularly shocking at first, and yet are hard to unsee once revealed. The most obvious results from the left arm of the Countess, which has a slight bent angle that does not quite work with how the muscle of the forearm would function. Take a second to try. On our hand, we could not figure it out. The other arm also has a strange alignment, but this time because of the way it lines up not with the right shoulder but with the left, with the forearm probably slightly too short despite the angled pose. Finally, we see the reflection in the mirror of the left hand of the Countess, when in fact it should be hidden behind her neck and thus not be seen in the mirror. Let us know in the comments below if you had spotted these. Those details should not distract us from the subject, a portrait which uses the background to add discrete details to frame the social status and character of the model. Those elements are highlighted by the opera glasses, casually left behind the Countess, and by the yellow shawl on the seat to her left, both of which suggest that she is just back from an evening out. Her social graces are further emphasized by the calling cards on the mantle, which would have been left by her callers in her absence, signaling a rich social life. Some authors have suggested that the dress worn by the Countess is slightly outdated, to emphasize her intellect and lack of interest in frivolous pursuits. She is certainly not at the height of fashion, nor does she wear a particularly embellished dress. But this choice of style remains certainly consistent with the garments worn in similar aristocratic portraits of the time. The simplicity of the dress has one exceptional advantage. It allows the viewer to appreciate the meticulous rendition of the fabric, silk in this case, incredibly captured by the variation of light. The brightness of the light, as reflected on the skirt and sleeves, gives an impression of daylight when, as we saw earlier, the evening gown and opera glasses rather suggest that the Countess just returned from an evening out. Finally, we can notice her jewelry, which has been rarely commented on in modern interpretation of this painting. Her left hand only shows her wedding band, discreet and unadorned, perhaps to signal the modesty of the model. On her right arm, the Countess wears a bracelet and a ring in a style imitating Egyptian jewelry. This style was still widely popular among European aristocrats, following the Egyptian campaign of Napoleon at the beginning of the century and the revival of the taste for antique pieces. We can note that the Countess' jewels remain far less extravagant than those displayed in the other portraits, in line with her more simple dress, conveying the image of a thoughtful and contemplative young woman. This painting is a masterful portrayal that blends the artist's technical prowess with a nuanced depiction of 19th century aristocratic life. Despite his reservation about portraiture, Ingres' meticulous attention to detail and his ability to convey the inner life of his subjects shine through this work. The Countess, depicted with an unusual pose and subtle social cues, embodies both elegance and intellect, reflecting her sophisticated background and personal achievements. Through these portraits, Ingres not only captured the likeness of the Countess, but also offers a glimpse into the social and cultural fabric of her time, making this painting a timeless piece that continues to fascinate and inspire. Thank you for joining us on this portrait journey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe for more art explorations. See you next time!